Hi, welcome to another episode of Tabletop Noob. Today I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to do to base the hero models for Shadows of Brimstone. Um, so got the zoom this out a little bit here. Got our Bandito friend here. So what I'm going to be using is the Army Painter Battlefield's basing glue. I'm just using it because I have it. You can use just your standard white glue, your basically just white glue, really. Um, and I'm also going to be using a sand, basically, since they're kind of a western setting. So I figured I'll just do just a desert sand and nothing real fancy. They do a bunch of different companies make miniature, sand basically. Do some search. I believe Army Painter does. Games Workshop does. There's a lot of different companies out there. You can probably just go out into your yard, find some dirt or something, get some sand, just about anywhere. I'm actually using some sand that I purchased from just the dollar store. This just sand. It's a buck. I figured I can probably base a lot of miniatures with it. It does have, some little stone type things in it. I mean, this is one baggie of sand that you can get. It's a pound, roughly. So that's what I'm going to use to base these guys with. I'm also going to use the black. I would use the black from the paint set, but again, if you watch the series of these, I had a problem with the black. So I'm using Reaper Pure Black, or what you could do if you don't want to use your miniature paint. Basically, what I'm concerned about is just doing the edge black, just to make it nice. But anyway, if you don't want to use your expensive miniature paint, you can get, like, say, just craft paint. This here is just the Americana Lamp Ebony Black. You can just get a craft paint, just your standard black, just for things like that. It's just a base. But I'm just going to go ahead and use the miniature paint. So I am going to use the paintbrush, the precise detail to paint. I'm just going to paint just the edge black. I'm just going to just leave this white. I am going to use a separate brush. I already got some glue out from the basing glue. It's just a cheap brush. I bought a pack of these for just a couple of bucks. It's just a cheap brush, just to spread the glue around on the base, before I put the sand on. But again, like I said, you don't have to use the basing glue. I'm just showing it to you because I have it. I do have just regular old white glue around. I have the Elaine's tacky glue. You can use that. But like I said, I'm just showing you because I have it. So I'm going to paint the base, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to actually put the sand on. So I'll be right back. Okay, once you get the your black paint on there, I'm just using black because honestly, a black base really doesn't bother me. You can base it however you want. But so, got my brush. Just getting a little bit of water on here. The white the white glue, same as the basing glue from Army Painter, is water soluble, so which means that it cleans up with water. So you just get you really do want to use like an old brush, or just a brush that you really don't really care about so much for this. So you just get a little bit of glue and just start applying it to your base, and just being mindful of particularly the edges that you painted. I mean, we can go back and clean those up with paint once the glue dries and everything. But you want to definitely be mindful of his feet, because you don't want to get your basing material on his feet. So once you got a fair amount of glue on there, clean your brush off. I got a little bit of glue on them. Since it does clean up with water, just get your brush a little wet. A little bit of glue on his boots there. You can wet it down. And you can wipe it away with your brush, with your wet brush, and then just keep wicking it away. Like that. Now, with my sand here, just the camera here, all I'm going to do is just place them in the sand and just kind of put the sand on top of the base. Give it a bit of a shake. And that's what we got. Now I'm going to come back by and just, once the glue dries, I'm going to use the soft tone ink on top of the sand and everything to darken it down a bit. So I'm going to finish up everybody else, and then once everything is, once the get the glue to dry, I'm going to use the soft tone ink on the sand. Once that dries, I'm going to seal everything with a spray sealer, and I'll show you what I use for that coming up once everything dries. So I'll be right back. Okay, so there they are, all based up with the sand, as you can see. Just gotta clean up the edges a little bit, which is, you know, no big deal. You can just rub that off with your thumb. So now that that's done, now what I'm going to do now is just apply some of the soft tone ink to the actual top of the base, just to darken it up a bit. So I mean, this is something that you don't have to do. I'm just thinking that it'll just darken it up a little bit. What you could have done is just painted the entire top of the base, and with black, or even maybe the dark flesh, or even the desert yellow, and put the sand on top, and it'll just give you different effects because it just would have been different from the white that would have been on there from the primer. So like I said, I mean, it's all just different effects. So let me get some ink down on the palette here. Here's the ink. Probably could be using a bigger brush, but you know, I'm using the brush from the set. And this will probably loosen up some of the sand. Like I said, I'm not sure if this was completely dry anyways, which it probably wasn't, but that's okay. Just got a big ass hand there in the way. Like I said, this will probably loosen up some of the sand because it's wet, and the glue is water soluble. And like I said, and also when I started this, I'm not sure if the glue was completely dry, which it probably wasn't, because I should have waited longer. Generally speaking, you want to wait 24 hours. I didn't. So you don't have to do this with all of them. You can just say, do that with him, or so like that. Wait for that to dry. So in contrast. So yeah. You don't have to do them all like that, or you can just not do it with any of them. Like I said, then that's just with the soft tone ink. So I think I'll wait a little bit longer before I do the rest of them, just because I was getting some of them. I was getting quite a bit of sand coming up with it because the glue hadn't dried up yet. And once I do this with all of them, again, I'll be right back. Won't be that long for you, it'll be longer for me, but I'll show you what I'm going to do to seal the base and the miniature, everything all in one, to protect everything. So I'll be right back. Oh, okay. So this is what I use to protect them with: the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch, the Ultra Cover Matte Clear. Let's see, it's non-yellowing, UV resistant. You can spray it on plastic and stuff. So yeah, this is what I use. As you can see on our bandito friend, or I'm probably saying it wrong. Oh well. This is what he looks like after he's been spray painted and dried. You can apply as many coats as you need. This is just one coat. This can has a wide spray pattern, so it's just basically one shot on the front, one shot on the back, maybe one on each side, and that's about it. You know, holding it a good distance apart, you know, maybe about, 10 to 16 inches, give or take. And so this is what he looks like in comparison to, say, the Saloon Girl here. You know, he does have a bit of a gloss, but to me, not that big of a deal. So, because he's covered, she's not. I just wanted to give you a comparison. So, I mean, you can really see the difference on the base as well, where the black is a little bit of a gloss, where that's still flat. And so, yeah. So that's what I used. I mean, you could use the stuff that's specifically made for your miniatures. I don't remember how much that cost. I think it was in the neighborhood of $5 to $7, I believe. I mean, it's just, since it does give you a wide shot, and it just goes on. I mean, it just and you're not going to be using very much of it. Like I said, I really should be using the stuff that I'm supposed to be using, I guess, since I'm just starting out, I suppose. But I like it. It works. I'm not using very much of it. Same thing with the primer. I'm not using very much of it. And that's also in the neighborhood of $6, $7, somewhere around in there. I mean, it's probably about the same price as your miniature primer. But I mean, I know I can get that just about anywhere or any place without having to either special order it or find a hobby place. Because from what I noticed, one of my hobby stores that I go to, as far as where I can get miniatures from, I didn't notice any primers there, or they did have some, and like just the regular, your basic primers of, like, say, white, gray, or black, or whatever, they seem to not carry. I mean, they carried it, I'm sure, but it seemed to always be either out of stock. I'm sure people are always buying it or whatever. But I mean, not a lot of people think of, I guess, automotive primer, I guess. But again, make sure it's if you're buying that, make sure it's the Duplico or sandable primer, because like I said, it doesn't fill in the voids. So I guess that's it for this series as far as the heroes go. So now I'm going to be working on the monsters, the army of the void spiders, and so I do have the paint set for the void creatures, whatever the hell that's called. So yeah. So like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. And thumb. Thanks.